Real dating flags tend to be little more complex than habits you could pass off as behavior quirks. And in today's swipe culture, where apps and social media have revolutionized the way we communicate, they are more nuisance than ever. A red flag can be defined as something your partner does that indicates a lack of respect, integrity, or interest towards the relationship. Here are the 8 red flags you really need to look out for, and why, according to dating experts. They don't want to label the relationship after a few months of dating. If Shakespeare was still around, perhaps he would be able to give us a hand when it comes to understanding the ever-expanding language of love. Unfortunately, the bard died in 1660, leaving us to make sense of lexical ambiguity, like seeing someone and hanging out all on our own. We live in a world where there are now many words to describe one relationship that are conveniently non-committed and also somewhat meaningless. But if after a few months the person you are dating refuses to label it, call you their girlfriend or boyfriend, it could be a major red flag. Not only might it signal a lack of commitment, but it may also suggest that they are romantically involved with someone else. If your significant other seems to avoid any conversation about exclusivity and labels after dating for several months, they are probably not serious about the relationship. You don't feature on their social media accounts after a few months. This is niche and should come with a disclaimer. If you or your partner are not on social media, you can probably ignore the following. Not featuring on their social media could mean they don't see you as a long-term option. But if you are someone whose partner scrolls through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook religiously and has a history of featuring exes on their profile, it might be bad news if they haven't posted about you yet. It might mean they don't see you as a long-term option, or that they are not ready to show you to the world. Exception: if it's a business account. In that case, not wanting to post selfies of U-boats in front of the Eiffel Tower, complete with love heart emoji, and couples go is kind of fair enough. They don't initiate dates. It might sound simple, but actually, sticking one's neck out to make a plan is important when it comes to dating. If you always seem to suggest when to meet, this is a one-sided relationship. It requires you to do all the work. Someone who is really into you will contribute and be proactive in the relationship. Being proactive is attractive. Sitting back and letting someone else do all the legwork while you bask in the glory of not having to lift a finger is not. There's power imbalance. Dating is all about working together to support one another in equal measure. Being in a happy relationship feels like being in the best kind of team. If it doesn't, and it seems like one of you is constantly exerting control over the other, who is more submissive, consider it a bright red flag. Signs of a power imbalance can take the form of jealousy or controlling behavior. Both can easily lead to the end of a relationship. So try to deal with this early on rather than bottling up emotion. As for how to handle it, make your concerns clear, and if nothing changes, it's time to reevaluate. You're expressing feelings to one another differently. It's a good thing to have a yin and yang balance in a relationship. What you lack your partner provide, and vice versa. But one instance when it could be concerning is when it applies to how you express your love and affection for one another. If you expect one thing and get another, you might not be as compatible as you hoped. It could be that you are more of a romantic wordsmith. You constantly tell your partner you admire them and you undate them with compliments, while your partner is less appreciative of effusive compliments and favors kind-hearted actions. The tricky thing is that if you are one way inclined, it may lead you to expect the same kind of behavior from your partner, and when you don't receive it, it can be disappointing. If you expect one thing and get another, you might not be as compatible as you hope. One of you is keeping secrets. If you or your partner is hiding something from the other, it's going to do inevitable damage to your relationship at some point, and is definitely a red flag. We don't need to share every little thought with our partner, but if one of you have something major on their mind that they are hiding, then it's going to be problematic, because keeping secrets can interfere with your happiness, and the idea of getting discovered can be paranoid. Recent research by dating website Elite Single found that 34% of people think sharing secrets is an important part of forming an intimate bond, so there are benefits to being an open book too. They won't compromise. You're never going to agree on everything with your partner. That much is a given. For example, a recent study found that nearly 1 in 10 couples split during house renovation, with 15% claiming they were completely at each other's throat. But learn to find a middle ground and wait to compromise on key issues